Hey coaches, this is Coach Tall Guy. Just gonna spend some time today working through a 3-3-2, and I'm gonna kind of go through some of this with you. So just I've came across this attacking in the 3-3-2 presentation, and you can see here we got the right back, center back, and left back, and our midfielders here and our two strikers. Now, as you can see here, this is a little bit higher level, so they're talking about having your strikers offset, which is huge because you're going to create some nice angles to play give and goes, takeovers, overlaps, little through balls. It's okay if they're kind of side by side. That's a little easier for the recreational players to understand. But the one thing that I really wanted you to kind of see in this graph here is how the kids are connected. So you'll notice here in the midfield, it's a lot wider. So we have our center midfielders, our right midfielder, and our left midfielder, and they're stretched. So our outside midfielders are getting wide towards the touchline. But you'll notice how the center back and the right back and left back are tighter together. They want to stay connected. I kind of like to use don't be any more than 10 yards apart at any time. And you'll also notice here, even though the strikers are offset, they're still kind of connected, so that way they can play and work off of each other. A lot of times I'll see a striker out here or a striker out here, and that's not good because they just cannot play and combine with each other. So this is a good starting position when you're attacking in a 3-3-2. Now as this kind of plays through, you're going to notice the movement that's going to happen as the strikers start to go downfield. Okay, so in this situation, the ball's gone down the field. Okay, we've moved this direction. Notice that they're all staying connected as a group. And that's a big thing. A lot of times when I still go to a lot of recreational games, we see our defenders, they're still sitting back here on the 18, even though the ball is down in this area. So it's very important that our kids get conditioned to transition as a group, okay? Move down the field with the ball, stay connected. So this word connected just means you're moving together. This group's connected, this group's connected, this group's connected, but then the team is connected. And I always try to guide and get kids to understand, even when we're attacking, we're moving down the field, because if we do lose the ball, hopefully we can win it back further down the field so we're still in a great attacking position. So again, connected is the key here, moving together. Now in this thing, they're saying it's too predictable because it's just very flat across. Now notice in this one, the strikers made a little through run. So again, high level here though, striker made a through run this way, and then it created space to play a through ball that split the defenders in this situation. So one of the things we want to talk about is if you're playing with two strikers, is kind of having one look to make a run long, create space to play another player short, okay? So in this one striker made a through run. It suckered the center back and the right back to go with that striker, which then created this nice channel right here for the other striker to make a run into, and we were able to play a nice little through ball. And then you're on to goal. So as this continues to run, all right, they're going to show you a couple different options here. So again, very similar. Striker now made a through run this way, okay? This striker checked back to create space for this striker. So by checking back here, you've brought the center back hopefully out of position, and it opened up some space here. And there they played a little give and go. Now this is pretty high level for here, but I think just understanding kind of, again, staying connected, how to move, all right? See how the strikers are moving in this one, creating a channel for the center mid. Now it's not going to be that easy, okay, because the other team's going to have their midfielders as well. But again, here they're talking about straight lines are bad. And the reason straight lines are bad for strikers is really the defender is going to be in a good position here to defend, and you're just running straight into the defender, and you're not actually creating any space you're keeping the backs here in a nice compact line because you're just making a straight run. So we want to talk about our strikers making diagonal runs, checking runs, little curling runs to kind of stretch this defense. You have to understand the concept of defense is to stay compact. So offensively, we want to try to stretch them. I kind of like this picture. We have these passing areas right in here. So again, thinking about space on the field, all right? When we're attacking, can we find these channels, or in this case, they call it a passing pocket. I like to call it a channel. But can we find those spaces? Those are going to be the spaces where we want to try to play passes through and into, okay? So we can talk to our midfielders about finding these little gaps. I call them splits. These little gaps, or you want to call them channels, whatever. These little areas, this is where there's going to be space to pass the ball into for our strikers to run onto. And in this case, they had a midfielder run into that area, which is fine as well. But we just want to find those spaces to run into. There's a little through ball. It was right into that little space in between the defenders. In this situation, it got played out to the right midfielder, then played into that space for a run down the line to the other striker. So this is good visual. I love this visual right here. This is fantastic. So this dotted line, okay, this dotted line here, this is great. It kind of gives you thirds of the field, outside third, middle third, and other outside third. So notice in like this situation, I love how the two midfielders have really stretched the field, okay? They're staying in their channels, all right? Their third of the field, they're staying in it, creating now space for the strikers to run into, all right, and creating space for the other midfielders. Notice the back line has also pushed up down the field. So many times we see teams just kind of condense the area because the midfielders tuck in too tight. When we're on offense, we really want to encourage these midfielders to get wide. And now this little visual is just showing you the different angles and options that the center midfielder has to pass to, which is great because that's what we want when we're attacking is we want lots of different options. If one option's covered, we go to the second option and so on. Ball's in the middle third here. You can see our shape. The defenders are still tucked in. They're in their channels. Midfielders are in their channels. Yep, that one got intercepted because the midfielder ran right into the teeth of the defense, okay? Now they lost the ball. They're just showing you a little bit of transitioning. So taking a moment, okay, let's back this up. I'll try to find a good photo for you. Let's pause right here. So think about practice. You can line cones down the field, okay? And you can discuss positioning. So you can show and put the kids in these positions, use the cones, and then you can talk to your team about how we stay wide. We stay on our side of the field, and then you have basically like this left midfielder stays to the sideline and can go to that line there. Same thing with the right midfielder in the back. So this is a great way, throw down some cones to show them a visual of like where they're allowed to kind of move on the field, because I'm still seeing teams just chasing the ball, getting super compact on offense because they're all going to the soccer ball and they're not staying in their areas of the field. So I would encourage you to take some time, talk about that. You can set some cones up and say, hey, everybody move to this cone in 5 seconds, move to that cone in 5 seconds, move to that cone in 5 seconds, and then you can kind of position them. Another big one, I'm going to try to find it here that I like to see. All right, let's see if I can find it. Yeah, I think right here. So this visual, I just want to remind coaches, can we coach the back line here to make sure that they're pushing up the field on offense, staying connected, okay? So you're still in your 3-3-2 shape, but now we're down the field moving with the soccer ball, staying connected. So hope some of this helps, talking through it a little bit. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to shoot me an email at adamc@edgesoccer.net. We'll see you out on the fields.